Okay, so now what we're going to focus on is the arms. This video is devoted to the arms because the arms have some really nice functional stuff on there. So let's take a look at this. Well, at standard glance, it looks like standard IK system. As you can see, the pole vector affects this and it's standard IK. But already, as soon as we bring it in, you're noticing something strange going on here. See how this is turning? That's not really supposed to be doing that. Usually, an IK system is going to look like this. That's normally how an IK system will behave. And then, of course, you'll be able to move this down and then affect your pole vectors and do all that stuff. But there is a reason why this is rotating like this. There's a reason for it. And the reason why is because it has a really nifty function called seamless IK-FK blending. Now, what do I mean by seamless? Well, there's a lot of guys who know how to do IK-FK. And IK-FK basically would be here. So if I turn my joints on here, and I show them, and I turn on the IK switch here, notice how we are now able to work in FK. But if I move this down here, and then I were to say, okay, now I'm ready to go back to IK now, because I moved it down, I got my nice arc, and now I want to be able to hold on to something again. Well, as soon as I turn this on, you're going to notice a pop. See that pop? That's not good. We don't want that. So what we'd rather be able to do is move this. Let's go ahead and zero out our pole vectors so we have a nice clean beginning again. Alright, cool. So we're going to move this, and rather than do that, we're actually going to use the script that is going to generate this switch. And now, same thing, I'm going to go here, I'm going to bring this out, I'm going to bring this down, and now if I wanted to go back to that IK thing here, as soon as I click this, notice that it seamlessly blends right back into where it is. Okay? And then we can go forward again, and then we can blend again. And we can just kind of seamlessly go from IK to FK almost instantly. And the only thing that we have to account for are these pole vectors here. Now, this is pure wizardry. However, I cannot take credit for it because I can't script worth a lick. Can't script worth a lick. However, this dude made this awesome script, and I was able to add a few functional things to it to make it work with my system. So keep in mind that this is the only thing, this script here, that I did not rig. Everything else I rigged, all the set-driven keys, all those different systems, the way I set up constraints, even the way that I have this workable I made. This is an interesting system, but the problem with it is there's all these joints. I have so many joints and control curves and weird things in here. So if I'm going to be working with pure FK on the joints here, I had to do something where I could make this a little easier for me to work with. So I set up something called FK Arms Viz Switch. And what this is going to do is it's going to knock out the visibility of everything except this one joint chain here. So as I turn this on, notice this is just a lot easier for me to work with. The other thing that I did was his system, his script, allowed for this to work with translation and then FK to work with rotations. It did not allow me to rotate this at all. And consequently, when I'm in IK mode, part of the reason I like IK is because it gives me that nice plant, but I'm losing that now. So I wanted to be able to have that as well. So I managed to, using constraints, figure out a way where I could turn this switch on now, and I can turn it on and off, and with very minimal pop, now I have the ability to operate like a completely functional IK. And then if I want to, I can turn it off one frame away from where I want to turn it on, and it pops slightly, and then I just animate it back in place and you would never know it popped. And so that's my little solution for how we could do this, as well as the ability to go into the FK mode and do pretty much whatever we want to do there. So seamless FK IK arms, very effective system, very powerful. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn this off. I like to go ahead and zero out my rotations on the bones every time that I go to IK, and then I'm going to go ahead and make sure my pole vectors are behaving correctly, and then we're going to take a look at some of the other custom attributes, because you notice that we have a lot of custom attributes here. So we're going to turn the joints off so that we can see what we're doing, and then we're going to go to pointer curl all the way to pinky curl, and then we're going to go to thumb curl. Notice that we now get a fist. Alright, well, we can also adjust these individually. So if she wanted to point, it'd be like you, or maybe here, or maybe even kind of a weak point. If we wanted to do kind of a peace sign, we can do that, and then just use a little bit of finger spread. Okay, so we can affect all of these individually. We can also go to the finger spread and create that kind of wide effect. We could create the thumb spread, and then we have the IK rotate switch, which is going to affect the IK here. And then we have, notice we have weapons grips, such as, let's say she has a sheath. Nell has what would be called a Zanpakuto, and her Zanpakuto is going to go in the sheath here. And notice what happens if I go to pointer finger to thumb curl and I try to match this, it doesn't look right. That's just not correct, right? So what can we do? Well, I actually made a custom grip that is just for the sheath. I also have one for the sword for her Zanpakuto, but now that's a lot closer. That matches a lot closer. And we can also grab this sheath and do whatever we want with it if it wasn't referenced. So the other thing we have is, right now this is parented to both FK and IK. So if I went into FK mode, it would still follow, but you know, this is kind of nice because it basically lets me grab the sheath and do whatever I want. But I could also go over to here and say, sometimes I want to turn that off because I want the sheath to fall out of her hands. Maybe she gets hit or something. So what I can do is I simply turn this on and it deactivates the parent constraint. So that's a nice little switch there as well. And I have the IK switch in case I didn't want to deal with the script and I didn't mind the little jump. There's times like that as well when I didn't want to have to load the script. So the IK switch is there as well. Now you saw an IK twist there. Let's go ahead and turn the IK rotate switch on. And let's turn this a little bit, and you're going to see what we're going to start to get is a little bit of something called a Tootsie Roll effect here. So how do we fix this? Well, unfortunately, one of the only problems with this guy's script is that he does not allow room for a forearm twist joint in there. So what we're going to work with is the IK twist. I use the connection editor to tie that in with the IK twist attribute, and we can kind of blend that a little bit now. And now we've managed to fix that. And I can go into the FK mode and kind of say, even though the elbow bends like this, we can kind of make it bend like this, you know. And then for the sake of animation, you know, that kind of a fix will work. Alright, so let's zero this out. And then we will go to IK and we will zero this out. So that's all zeroed. Let's go to here. And we will zero, actually we're going to go to the IK twist and zero that out as well. And then we're going to turn this off, sheath viz off, and everything is nice and clean. So let's go ahead and then go to the IK here, or the FK bones, zero those out, and we'll be right back to a nice clean setup here. Okay, cool. And similarly, over here we have sword visibility. So she has her Zanpakuto, Gamyusa. And we have the sword parent switch. We have the ability to do all that stuff. We have the sword grip. We also have the ability to turn this off, and we can go to create like a little bit of a paw. So if we take this finger spread and a little bit of thumb spread, and then we open this out a little bit more, you can see how now we get kind of a tiger claw effect. So we have quite a bit of functionality with these custom attributes to really get whatever finger animation that I want to create there. So as you can see, these arms are very powerful. I have FK mode for my nice clean arcs and rotations for my cycles. I have IK mode, and then I can actually seamlessly blend between them. So this guy's script is very powerful. There's a few little bugs, but overall it's a very powerful workflow. And I've managed to make it work for this character, so I'm pretty happy that I was able to plug some of my things into his script. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is we're going to take a look at some of the hair controls as well as some of her accessories, and then we're going to go ahead and move into the final portion, which is how I do facial animation.